This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter in for Emily Matson. We've wrapped up Freedom Week here in the Virgin Islands in celebration of both Emancipation Day and Independence Day, but many are already excited for next year's celebrations, and here's why. On Friday, VI Governor Gov Brian Jr. signed an executive order establishing a committee to plan the celebrations to commemorate the 175th anniversary of Emancipation Day. He also set aside $1 million to plan a variety of events to commemorate the end of slavery. Emancipation Day in the USVI is the most important public holiday for many Virgin Islanders, a date commemorating the emancipation of enslaved people in the Danish West Indies on July 3rd of 1848. On that date, 9,000 enslaved black residents on the island of St. Croix were freed 175 years ago. Certainly a big anniversary worth celebrating. On July 3rd of next year, Governor Brian announced the 9-member panel will oversee planning a host of events to commemorate Emancipation Day. He named former Senator Carol Burke to chair that special committee.
So it's with great honor and pride today that I come before you to ask you to join me in celebrating 175 years of emancipation. But not just an ordinary celebration like we did 25 years ago when we did 150, but a special celebration this time. That we're going to honor 175 keepers of the flame, people who have come before us that have laid a path of prosperity for Virgin Islands and a place where people of color could feel like they can express themselves, lead and be led, and be able to participate in commerce and in civic and government activities. A fantastic gift that has been given to us in the most beautiful place in the world here in the Virgin Islands. Emancipation certainly happened in Freedom City, Frederiksted, but it's about the entire Virgin Islands. So this year, we're going to move not only to recognize Emancipation Drive, but we're going to move to finally put brass plaques on some of these roads that we named after these culture bearers. We're going to move to put busts in places like our parks in order to honor the people who have come before us and we take great pride in. And so our children could remember that there are those who came before them, that their only look is not only to Martin Luther King, but to also Queen Matilda and to a Ruby Rouse, to know that they have come from something that is beautiful and that they too can be anything that they want to be.
Certainly something to look forward to next year. Meantime, Senator Marvin Blyden is applauding the relocation of the conch shell blower statue in Emancipation Garden on St. Thomas. It was recently moved to the central spot in Emancipation Garden. The move stemming from a 2020 petition signed by nearly 1,300 residents calling for the bust of King Christian IX to be removed and placed in the museum and replaced by the conch blower statue at the central figure here. Later that year, Senator Blyden and former Senator Myron Jackson sponsored a bill mandating this change. Blyden says he's happy the statue has been relocated ahead of Emancipation Day. The conch shell blower statue was first erected in 1998 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the slave uprising of July 2nd, 1848, which ended slavery in the Virgin Islands. The community is mourning the death of former Virgin Islands Governor Charles Turnbull. Governor Brian has declared a week of mourning and has ordered all U.S. Virgin Island flags flown at half-staff until the sunset on July 10th. Brian issued the following statement on the passing of former governor, educator, and historian. He said, quote, "No words can overstate the significance of his contributions to our territory. He was a giant, not only in stature, but in what he gave through his life's work to our people's educational, political advancement. I am blessed to have stood on his shoulders and received his encouragement." Well, travel frustrations and chaos are certainly nothing new. Monday brought more cancellations and delays at airports, and for those who thought driving was a better idea, well, gas prices just went up again in some states thanks to a tax hike. Here's the latest.
Before the fireworks even begin, tonight, many Americans already blowing up in frustration.
I've never come to an airport before wondering whether my flight's going to take off or not, so it's a little nerve-wracking.
The last-minute scramble to get home for the 4th of July is on. TSA screened more than 4.6 million since Friday across the nation's airports. Those planning ahead still burned by ongoing delays and cancellations.
My wife booked two flights, and one of them they just canceled.
Since Friday, more than 1,400 flights have been canceled and more than 15,000 have been delayed. What's happening at our nation's airports?
It's a mess right now. There's no other way of saying it. I've never seen anything like this, not in all these years.
Travel experts say it's a perfect storm where supply isn't meeting demand, calling on airlines to be more transparent about their staffing.
They have to get in front of this. They have to be honest about it.
American Airlines experienced a scheduling glitch Friday night that allowed aircrew to drop flights, leaving up to 12,000 flights without pilots through July. The airline, in a statement, said the issue has been fixed, adding they do not anticipate any operational impact.
This is not about this one incident this weekend. You know, this is a much bigger, as you know. I hate to be negative, but it's not going to fix itself next week.
Drivers facing other challenges.
I think the gas prices are insane.
The national average now around $4.81 a gallon. Still a bargain compared to California, where gas hovers around $6. And prices are projected to creep even higher. The Golden State, alongside 6 other states, all impose new gas taxes starting Friday. Nonetheless, some drivers still happily shelling out the green to see some red, white, and boom.
Woohoo! Worth every penny, right? To be with family over 4th of July weekend.
I guess that's a good way to look at it. And COVID-19 cases remain steady across the territory. According to the latest numbers available, health officials are currently tracking 230 active COVID-19 cases in the territory, with 170 on St. Croix, 46 cases on St. Thomas, and 14 on St. John. Health leaders are expecting to see a spike coming on St. John after a weekend full of festivities. Well, as we know, we're all different. Some are taller, shorter, bigger, or smaller. And now the largest study to date reveals how COVID vaccines work with people of different sizes. Ian Lee has the story.
Does size matter when it comes to being vaccinated against COVID? Researchers at Oxford University wanted to find out how well COVID-19 vaccines protect people of different weights from hospitalization and death.
Well, the first key outcome is that vaccines are highly effective across all body weights, and that is great news.
Scientists studied the medical records of more than 9 million people across the UK and looked at body mass index, or BMI, a measure of body fat based on height and weight. Dr. Carmen Piernas led the study and says not everyone is the same.
In the vaccinated people, there are still cases, and those cases is where we see increased risk of severe COVID in the high weights and low body weights.
But why those groups are more affected is still a mystery.
There is something going on with underweight and the overweight people in terms of their immunity, in terms of the response to their vaccines that we still don't understand very well.
Researchers also discovered underweight people were less likely to get the shot, but don't know why. Dr. Piernas now hopes their findings will help governments target the most vulnerable.
And for policymakers to look into perhaps thinking of different ways of prioritizing the vaccines.
And for everyday folks, she offers this recommendation.
The take-home messages are basically take the vaccine if you can, especially if you're underweight, and try to lose weight if you're overweight.
A doctor's orders on staying healthy during the pandemic.
The next step for researchers is to look at the effectiveness of booster shots in people who are obese or underweight.